there has been a theme of sorts across the NBA for the last 10 years. It is the following. Teams are trying to make the biggest trades and signings that they can in order to get the most star-studded teams possible. LeBron did it with the Miami Heat and got 2 titles. The Warriors brought in Kevin Durant and added 2 titles to their dynasty. The Nets and Lakers made super teams recently, and it only kind of worked out. And now another big rumor that's coming hails from 2 teams trying to break through to the next level. Allow us to show you how the Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic friendship could form the next super team. Number 5. The deals at the deadline. The Dallas Mavericks made one of the most surprising trades on deadline day when they shipped Kristaps Porzingis to Washington for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. Fans were shocked about the return the unicorn fetched, but the front office wanted more flexibility as they looked to build a title contender around superstar Luka Doncic. KP was never going to transform into the Mavericks' second star. They could not count on him to stay healthy, and the unicorn became an afterthought in last year's playoffs. Porzingis wanted post touches and just could not create shots for himself, so the Mavs moved on. They are searching for another star to pair with Doncic, but Dallas is not going to have cap space to acquire one. The front office will need to make it happen via a trade. It will likely take a superstar requesting a trade and wanting to come to Dallas. During the 2022 NBA All-Star Weekend, Luka was spotted hanging and joking with Nikola Jokic plenty. Could the reigning MVP force a trade to form a super team in Dallas? We know it may sound odd, but just roll with us on this one, okay? Number 4. The state of the Joker. Jokic is set to be an unrestricted free agent in 2023, and the Mavericks could have cap space that summer, but that does not matter in this case. Superstar players force trades all the time in the NBA, and their current team usually sends them to their preferred destination. Fans just saw it happen with James Harden, twice, Paul George, and Anthony Davis over the last 2 years alone. And to be clear, only one of them got that title and then was heavily injured afterwards. Jokic had this to say when asked about playing with Luka in the All-Star game. Jokic asked what it's like being teammates with Luka Doncic. Off the court, I think we're doing a really good job, but we're going to see on the court. I don't know how we're going to do it because he's not athletic. I'm not athletic, so I don't know how we're going to match. Fans know the reigning MVP is a jokester during interviews, but both men are European and were spotted hanging out often inside the Disney bubble back in 2020. Doncic and Jokic are friends, and they would not be the first 2 players to decide to join forces in hopes of winning a championship. Just see LeBron and D. Wade. Now, of course, right now Joker is playing out of his mind and stat-wise is actually doing better than last year when he got his first MVP award. So some might think it would be odd that he would want to form a super team with Doncic when he's doing fine in Denver. And if they get Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back, they'll have a legit chance of going to the NBA Finals. Something they were honestly close to a little while back. However, and we need to reiterate that things won't happen this season due to the trade deadline being done. If things don't go well for either team in the playoffs and frustration sets in, well, anything is possible. Number 3. So how would this work? As we just noted, Jokic has no reason to leave Denver at present. The Nuggets have made the playoffs for 3 straight years and have won at least 1 series each time, including making the Western Conference Finals inside the bubble, where they lost to the future champs in the Lakers. They have been shorthanded this season, but Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. will return from their injuries, and like we said, could give them a legit title chance. The only reason for Jokic to request a trade is to chase a ring. The Nuggets are a perennial contender, but will they have enough to win a championship? The Joker may think they do not, and he could decide to chase a title with a different franchise. The Dallas Mavericks would be an option if Jokic decides to change teams. They would trade everything possible to bring him to Dallas to play with Luka, but the decision will rest on the reigning MVP's shoulders. The Nuggets aren't necessarily going to deal him where he wants to go because every team in the NBA would be willing to offer everything possible to get him. Jokic is a great talent, and any team, no matter the conference, would want him to bring talent and quality to their teams. Looking around the league, the Bucks, Warriors, Grizzlies, Clippers, Heat, Sixers, Cavaliers, and Celtics could all be players if Jokic becomes available. Would the Joker prefer to play with a friend in Doncic over joining a team closer to title contention? Only he can answer that question. Number 2. Could the reverse work? If Doncic and Jokic decide to team up, they have 3 options. The Joker could decide to join Luka in Dallas. Doncic could move to Denver, or they can both change teams and form a big three like LeBron James and Chris Bosh did with Dwayne Wade in Miami back in 2010. Jokic is a free agent in 2023, but Luka cannot hit the open market until 2026. By that point, the Joker will be in his 30s and he will most likely be under contract. The Mavericks are not trading Doncic as his new max extension begins this summer. The 22-year-old is happy in Dallas and has no desire to change teams. Dirk is one of his mentors, and Luka wants to form a similar legacy with the Mavs. The Nuggets have two players working their way back from significant injuries and the often injured Aaron Gordon on their roster. Things could go from bad to worse if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are not the same players when they return. A distinct possibility depending on how much they've actually healed. The Dallas Mavericks plan on remaking their roster as they look to acquire a second star. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, Boban Marjanovic, Trey Burke, Sterling Brown, Frank Ntilikina, and Marquise Chris all hit free agency in 2023 when Jokic becomes available, meaning the Mavericks can sign the reigning MVP and reshape the roster around their two stars with role players. Dallas has the edge in roster flexibility after acquiring Nikola Jokic, which should be enough to bring the duo to the Mavericks if they decide to team up. Though obviously there are some risks here that can't be ignored, mainly from recent history. Number 1, super team doesn't equal titles. You see, a lot of teams have tried to make the super team happen since the success of the Miami Heat with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. The catch is that these results have actually not gone the way that people thought it would more times than not. Case in point, the Heat formed their super team and then lost to the Mavericks in one of the biggest upsets in finals history. Fast forward a bit, James Harden in Houston had multiple attempts at super teams with Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, and Russell Westbrook, and he only made it to the conference finals. The Suns put Devin Booker and Chris Paul together, made it to the finals, but lost to Giannis and the Bucks. And then in this year, we saw the Lakers try and pair LeBron and AD with Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Rajon Rondo, and they're a sub-500 team despite the Hall of Famers that they have on their squad. Oh, and the Nets with KD, Kyrie, and Harden, that didn't even last a true full season. So while it's very easy to drool over the fact that we might see Luka and Jokic together, we have to reiterate a very specific thing. It takes more than just star power to win championships. You need a team to help you win. So while these two would be awesome on the court playing for one team, if you don't have a squad to back them up, it'll end like many of the others that have come before it, just short of the title. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the potential super team that might, key word being might, happen with Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic? Do you think that it's even logistically possible for this to happen? Would they be able to make it to the NBA Finals if they somehow pulled it off? Or do you think that like other recent super teams, it would fall flat? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you next time on the channel.